So today I'm going to install my Sr20det Wire Specialties Pro harness. I'll try to do it as detailed as possible just so I can help out anybody else who's trying to install their harnesses as well. Pretty sure from Pro Harness to all of their harnesses, or any harness that you're going to be putting in this car that's pre-made, probably going to be pretty similar for installation. So let's get started. So first off, you want to start by taking out your old your old harness through this little feed right here to bring you into the engine bay. With the Pro harness, it's a little complicated because you've got this big block for your it's like a sub harness for your trans, so it's not two pieces like it is on the OEM. It's all in one. So you're gonna have to feed probably all the way down to here into your passenger side of the car. So once you get the beginning half of your harness through that ECU, through that that hole that'll get you into your engine bay, you'll be left with the actual attachment for your ECU. You'll have your igniter chip, which is inside of your glove box now, or behind your glove box, inside the actual car itself. And lastly, up here, you've got your plug that'll connect you to the actual chassis harness on the inside under the dash. So if you'd like, while you're still inside the car in the passenger footwell, you can install your igniter chip here inside the car if you'd like now. That's up to you. You've got that. I might tuck this up there somewhere, maybe tap a hole into the actual fender well. Not sure on that yet. You do have a little relay for that. You gotta get tucked up over here as well. While you're here, might as well attach the plug up top. That'll get you to connect to your chassis harness. And that's right up here. So while you're here, you can also install your ECU. All it takes is a 10mm socket. So if you want to do that now, you can, but I'm going to leave that for later. So in your passenger footwell, you'll have your ECU connector. You'll have your ignition chip connector, the relay, and you'll have the connector up in the top right corner under your glove box, or where your glove box will be. It's just a lot easier to do it without the glove box here. You'll have the connector for your body harness on the inside. So one of your next steps, you have this extension off of the main harness itself. Well, the ECU part of the harness, the connector. This is for your fuse box. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to, since it's so long, I'm going to tuck it down under here across the fender well back into the fuse box. So you might not be able to do this with one of the regular wiring specialties harnesses, but if you do get the Pro harness, you can alleviate as much wire in your actual engine bay as possible. My engine bay looks like crap, so disregard that from me, but for other people, I'm sure if you had a nice shaped bay, it would look awesome. So I have mine ran through here, and then in through under where the intercooler goes. So if you're doing this route, just make sure you tie these up just so they're not going to get touched by your tire or anything like that. Last thing you need is to spend money on a nice harness like this and end up ripping it out while you're driving. So definitely tuck that up as high as possible. There's a nice big arch in here, so tuck it up and away. That way you don't have to have any worries. So with the wires running to the fuse box tucked away, I would start with this one next, just so you know where you're working. This is your 12 volt to your starter to get constant power to your engine harness itself. So if you see down there, you can't really see very well, but I have my cable coming from my battery to the starter, and then this will be the constant 12 volt that goes to the actual engine harness itself. Next, right after the starter 12 volt is installed, I'm going to do my oil sensor, only because it's literally right next to the starter, next to the oil filter down there. Let's see if you can see it. It's that little white tab right there. So we're going to install that next. And then this is as easy as just plugging it in and then putting the cover over it. So I should be able to see it, but this is it tucked down right in here. Next, I would go with the coil pack harness. So the coil pack harness has its own sub harness here. So all you do is you connect those in, you run the wires to your coil packs, and you make sure you ground it on the back of the head. Once you ground it on the back of the head, the location is going to be right back here, right off this dip down on your valve cover. After you get that in, you can reconnect your coil packs, reinsert them. So I definitely like the way the Pro harness coil packs end up going in. It's nice and flush. Definitely better than the OEM one. I'll give you a look at that one real quick. Give me 1 second. So the OEM one is very big, bulky, nasty. So, and it's got this weird gray loom over it. So this is definitely an upgrade on the engine itself. So next, I would find your O2 sensor, your O2 sensor harness, and just try to tuck that in as far back behind the head as possible. That way it's as close as it is to your O2 sensor whenever you get that in. After you get your O2 sensor, I would try to hook up your knock sensor. So with me, I wasn't expecting to get this brand new sub harness with my knock sensor. So I'm just gonna, for now at least, until one day I take off my intake manifold and powder coat it, I'm just gonna use the regular, the OEM harness and just do it to this new plug. Because I don't believe I'll be able to get to the knock sensor from here at least. Yeah, it's tucked in like back here under the intake manifold. So I'm not gonna do that today. So I'll save this harness for another day if I ever have to do a rebuild or anything like that. On my setup, I have my intake air control valve and my knock sensor right here. Sorry, the plugs, I have them ran right here to the back of my intake manifold itself. So those ones are going to be fairly easy to just plug in and get rid of. If I can find the intake control valve. Alright, so you got those. Back under there. And then you've got your ground, another ground that's pretty essential. You're going to want to have that on the back of your intake manifold if you have a spot for it, or find somewhere, but you definitely need it. On mine, it's located right here in the back. Once you install the ground, for me, I'm gonna head over and do my injectors now. So what's cool about these is you can have them tucked up under the intake manifold and come out in between the actual intake manifold itself, and go right into the actual plugs. That way they're not hanging over the top. You can have them tucked up right under. Once I go with an upgraded fuel rail, I'm sure it'll look a lot nicer than this, but for now it'll do. And the last would be the fourth one down the end. This is probably going to be the hardest one to get to, which it is. So I took my MAF plug and my CAS plug, ran them under and over to your CAS, and then your, whether it be Z32, Sr20, whatever MAF you have running over there, you got that running over there. And then basically the last few things is you've got your alternator plug, which is going to go right down here. Then you've got your throttle position sensor, and then your coolant temp sensor and signal, which are right in the front, right under your fuel pressure regulator. So I had my CAS run up and across, my MAF all the way over. Unfortunately, it is for a Z32 MAF, and I'm still running a stock SR one, so the car probably won't start until I get that. So all in all, it's finished. I got a few wires I still need to tuck away and all that good stuff, but other than that, it looks really clean. Definitely impressed with how it came out. It makes the engine look a lot better now. I wish I just had a shaved bay in it, to be completely honest. So, other than my engine bay looking like complete garbage, the engine harness itself did come out super good. now it's just a matter of getting this thing on the road. When I start it up, I have probably a bad throwout bearing that every time I want to tap the clutch down, you just hear that squeaking and stuff. So I'm probably not going to end up driving this car much until I get that fixed. But other than that, I can say that I'm completely happy with how the harness came out. And maybe one day I'll have some motivation to actually start cleaning this thing up a little bit. Or swap the engine into a cleaner shell, which is probably going to be the easier and cheaper option. But that's it. Hopefully I can help some of you guys on your installs for your wire and specialty harnesses. But thanks for watching. See you guys later.